Didn't want to talk about last night, so you know what's coming. Status of your goalie, Ben Bishop?
Well, in honor of the 11-year anniversary of our organization's first Stanley Cup, how would John Tortorella answer that question?
Is he available tomorrow night?
I'll just leave it at that. Yep.
John, over here. Brad Richards was saying the other day that, one thing that really distinguishes the Triplets line is that they're willing to try to do things that might scare other young players. Why is that?
Actually, I haven't really, I guess, thought of it that way, but that's a really good player and skilled player, as Brad Richards thinking the same way they think. And they're willing to play the game uncomfortable. So if you know what I mean, they go outside of probably what's the norm. The one thing that really makes them work, though, is they all have extremely high hockey IQs, and they can play the game at a really fast pace. And ultimately, if you want to have that kind of success, you have to compete, and all three of them do that. They're not afraid to go to any area in the ice. But Richie's right; they're willing to do that, and it's. The other thing is too, all three of them really get along with each other off the ice, and I think just that chemistry and their friendship helps them too.
John, well, knowing you're not going to give us the answer, do you know right now who's going to play net for you tomorrow?
No, I don't. Which would tell you, if I don't know, that Bish could be available. You'll have a better indication, I guess, tomorrow and at the skate. Although our morning skates are all optional anyway. Bish is notoriously, he goes on sometimes during them and sometimes he doesn't. But I'm sure you'll get a clue then tomorrow.
John, in a world where the way the game is looked at is changing dramatically, do you avail yourself a lot of the advanced metrics that are available for hockey analytics?
Well, I think information is good, and I think you're naive not to take in everything around you, and if statistics is part of that, I want to see it, and I want to have it at our disposal. How much we use or how much it changes your thinking, I can't sit here and say, well, I'm 100% analytics says yes, so that's our direction. Because the one thing that analytics does not take into account is the human mind, the human spirit, and the human soul. And so I think that comes into play in, I mean, I guess if there's one combatant of analytics, that's the part of it. But I most definitely, I want the information and we use it.
John, Patrick Waugh said earlier this year that in trying to build his team into a contender, he doesn't want to just be a good team, but he wants to play a kind of style that's pleasing for his fans to watch. Obviously, your team would fit that description, but I'm just wondering what your true organic philosophy is on the way you think the game should be played, even at this time of year, and whether you can appreciate how entertaining last night was for everyone.
Yeah, I'll be honest, I don't know how somebody could leave that rink last night and not be an instant hockey fan if that was your first game. To me, it's a speed sport, and these guys are phenomenal athletes. I guess ultimately I coach games to win games, and I guess there's different ways to do that, but I mean, we believe that these guys have these abilities. Why not take advantage of them? And I'm a big believer in literally playing the whole game skating forwards. I think you can do that. And I think your best defense is having the puck. So if you can have it as much as you can, it's really tough for the other team to score. The entertainment value, I mean, I know we are in the entertainment business a little bit, but I don't put it really any stock in that. I think we're in the winning business. And ultimately, any fan will tell you, I think winning is the greatest entertainment. And if you look outside our building and inside our building, there's 2 teams left standing, and we're one of them. And you can't get a seat inside or outside. So I think for the fans, the fact that you're winning, it's pretty entertaining. But you've watched this enough. You see the way our team plays. That's how we play.
Coop, you guys have been really good on the road during the playoffs, better than in even the regular season. Any explanation for that?
Actually, to be honest, I think part of it's different because in the regular season, you're going on 5-game road trips. You're in 5 different cities. You could be in different time zones. You're playing back-to-backs. Just playing on the road in the NHL doesn't really work in your favor a whole ton. I think when you look at our home record, and I'm not making light of anything, but teams usually come down to Florida, and they've been potentially somewhere where it's been 20 below, and they get 4 days in Florida. They play us and the Panthers, and I think one of us at least should take advantage of the team at some point in there. And so we're kind of a destination city because you have to come down and play us both. And so I think that works in your favor. And but on the road, it's different because especially where we are geographically, we're going on long trips all the time. And the one thing that I know going into the playoffs, there was so much talk about how bad we were on the road. I think it changed our focus. And conversely, there was so much talk on how good we were at home. I think we just took that for granted. And then we wanted to put a show on at home, and it didn't work out for us. So I truly believe, if it makes any sense at all, that our poor record during the regular season has kind of united our focus. And I think that's why we've played better on the road. Plus, the other thing is, too, you get breaks and the rest and all that helps out, too.
Coach, referencing that style of play question a little bit, all through the series, no matter which one it is, going into the Stanley Cup final, but even in games 1 and 2, the difference between the 2 styles. Can you talk about your team's ability to adapt to no matter what the game seems to be playing out as, whether it's tight checking, wide open, a speed game? Your team has been able to seem to change its style to match what's needed.
Well, I think that's what's great about our group. I think for a lot of these players growing up in their life, I'm not so sure defense came first in their repertoire of playing, which to me, I don't care. Because for a coach, it's much easier to make an offensive gifted player learn how to play D than it is to make a defensive minded player score goals. And so I think that's been a big part of, I think playing defense is a choice to me. You got to make the choice. Do you want to do it or not? And everybody, from our captain down to our goaltender, they make a choice to play D. Now, do we do it every single night? I mean, do we get caught up in games where it's run and gun and we get caught up in that? There's no question. And a lot of that, it's human nature, and it's the way we like to attack and the way we like to play. And are we the perfect team? No, we're not. I think we're a fun team, and I think we're a committed team, and I think we play as a group. And when the game is on the line and those guys got to buckle down, they know how to do it. And I think that's, I guess, the way we've adapted is when it's time to go win a hockey game, these guys find a way to do it, and that's what's been great about them.
Jon, I know you know Joel very well. You have a relationship with him. He was one of your mentors, you said, a little bit growing up.
Who are we talking about?
Quenneville, Joe Quenneville.
Oh, yeah. Sorry.
Have you cut off communication as Marty and Stammer did in the last round?
Well, we spoke actually, as I said, when they advanced to the final, we spoke right after that. We've spoken a couple times. I think just because you're in the final together, it doesn't stop you from becoming friends. I don't think we're in a different position because we coach our teams, but it's 20 players going against 20 players. They're the ones battling it out. We're just the 2 guys that have prepared our teams. And have I cut communication off with them? No, we don't speak on a daily basis in this time. But I would, if I walked by him on the street, I would make a point of going over to say hi to him. There's no question.
John, if Vasi does play or start tomorrow, he's obviously played well in some tough buildings this year. In the short sample size that you've seen him this season, what about him in his mental makeup or preparation where you feel confident that he can step up to that challenge?
Well, to be honest, the game that sticks out for me, we ended up losing that game, but when we were on the island and we were fifth game in 10 nights, and it was a tough trip for us. And I think Vasi kicked out 40 plus. We didn't have the puck the whole night, and we had a 1-0 lead. Like sometime into the third, I don't remember exactly. And we ended up losing the game 2-1, but we should have lost 10-1. And the building was rocking, and it was just a crazy atmosphere. And he was unreal. And he just played with this unreal calm about himself. That's kind of when I knew we had something in this kid. Other games, usually he's come in tough situations sometimes, and he's had to battle his way through. Even in the playoffs, we've put him in tough situations. But he's played under some bright lights. He's World Junior. He's KHL. He's been in all these situations. I'm sure you've asked the guys. I mean, they're with them more than I am. But I'll tell you, I don't know if we've got a more prepared player in our locker room than that kid. He's ready to go in at any moment, and you got to love that in him. So if Bish can't go tomorrow, is that a blow to us? Sure it is. But do we think the series is lost because Vasilevsky's going in? Not a chance. I don't know. I look at our tandem, and I'd like to stack them up against any tandem in the league because I think we've got 1 and 1A.
John, when it comes to defending against Jonathan Toews and Patrick Kane, whether they're together or apart, how much is it just simply being hyper aware of when they take the ice and where they are?
Well, you have to be aware of that at all times. I think they're two outstanding players. But if you can get we've got some good players on our team as well. So we didn't get here, by not being able to play. And we have a lot of confidence in the Strawmans and Hedmans and Garys and Coburns and down the list that those guys can make it hard on players. And I know that, a lot's been made of the last couple games of Paquette's line and how they've neutralized Toews' line a little bit for 2 games. But if Toews' line has to go against Johnny's line or it has to go against Phil's line, we're comfortable with that. And I think that's been one of the assets of our team is regardless of what line gets caught out there with somebody, there's not really any stress on our bench. And they've done it all year. And it's not as if Brian Boyle hasn't faced top centers in his career. He's gone against these guys. And I think that's what's good about our group is we have that balance. To answer your question, of course we're aware when they're on the ice. I mean, they're dangerous players. And we respect them immensely, but we don't fear them.